Hello, in today's video I'm going to finish my Stegadon from my Lizardmen collection. So I've had this guy for a while now, and just like with the rest of my Lizardmen, I never got around to painting him. So today I'm actually going to finish him. For the paint scheme, I was inspired by the Engine of the Gods Stegadon from the 8th edition Lizardmen Army book. To get him started, I began by painting Citadel Mephiston Red as the base coat. This model has a large surface area due to its size, and I don't have a lot of experience painting large models. So I struggled with this one to make sure everything, especially details, were painted. After coating in red, I wanted to get that fleshy undertone under his belly with Citadel's Cadian flesh tone. Next are the large scales on its back. I wanted to try something different, trying to paint a darker scales matching the ones in the picture. Starting with Citadel's Abaddon black, I then painted the Mephiston red over it. Unfortunately, this did not work. The color of the scales did not match what I wanted. I went to the game store and picked up some Citadel Corn Red and painted the scales instead. And this worked a lot better. I'm much happier with its result. Next, the horns I paint with Citadel's Screaming Skull. Next, the wood pieces, which hold up the platform on its back. This is the exact same as all of the woods I've done previously, using Citadel's Rhinox Hide as the base layer, then Vallejo's Mahogany Brown as the layer after that. Unfortunately, while painting this model, I constantly broke the back pieces while painting it. I really should have painted this model in sub-assemblies, however, since it was already glued together from years of just sitting in storage, I had to just paint it as is. After I paint the two previous layers, I use Dark Tone Wash from Army Painter to paint the wooden pieces, trying to give it some sort of color variation and texture. And then while I have it out, I go over each of the different horns sticking out on the side, and next, the fabric on top of the platform. Starting with a base layer of Screaming Skull, I then add an additional layer of Army Painter's Matte White after that. Now I use the Dark Tone Wash to give the fabric depth, and then paint the larger flat layers with the Matte White again. To the platform, I debated this for a while what color to use. I decided that a wooden brown would be the best. So using the same technique as earlier, I paint the wood with the same recipe. Next is the engine itself, the magical machine on the back of the Stegadon. This will be painted with bronze. Using Army Painter's Weapon Bronze, I paint well over 2 coats on the device, trying to make sure I get it the deep, rich, metallic color that I wanted it to be. I kept having missing pieces and had to go back over several times. I tried something here using Army Painter's Bright Gold. I gently brushed gold on the glyphs of the device, trying to add some tone. And then after this, I used Citadel's Screaming Skull for the horns on the chair. Now the side of the platform has these neat little triangles, so I wanted to paint them in a pattern using red, purple, and yellow. So to start with, I gently with a fine tip brush used Mephiston Red to start, and then after I counted up to 3, and then painted that one, continuing all the way around the platform. Next was the purple. Using Vallejo's Heavy Violet, I did the same thing with every triangle after the red. And then for the yellow, I used Citadel's Phalanx Yellow, finishing up the pattern. Next, I use Dark Tone Wash to give the texture on the horns some depth, and then I go back over with Screaming Skull to color the horns again. Next, the details scattered through the model, such as the skull on the platform and the shields. With Screaming Skull for the skull, and Dark Tone Wash, and then Matte White, I finished the skull. The shields I use Citadel's Mooch Green on the scales, Leather Brown on the back, and then Dark Tone Wash to give it depth. Next is more details like the joints holding the platform using Weapons Bronze. These bracelets, which are on the model, I also used the Weapon Bronze as well. There's also ropes scattered throughout the model, and I use these by painting Army Painter Leather Brown, and then going back over it with the dark tone wash once it has dried. These pieces that broke off, I painted the staff with the wooden recipe. I used weapon bronze for the headpiece. Painted the skull similar as well. And then the feathers, I used the same color paints that I used earlier on the model, and then gave it a wash to add the feathers texture. This middle piece, I used the Army Painter's Bright Gold to give it color, and then use different colors for the feathers. So for the base, I used the same recipe as I did in my previous skink video, with the drywall compound. But this time I added more paint in it, and I added a little more ballast to give it more texture. I noticed that changing the basing compound made it a little bit thicker. Once dried, I went back over the edges with Pro Acryl's Dark Umber. The stone that the model is standing on, I painted with Citadel's Skaven Black Dinge, and dry brushed with Army Painter's Ash Gray. Using superglue, I glue some grass tuff to the base, add some bushes, and then I went back over the model trying to find pieces that I forgot after I base it, such as the eyes. It was not until I completed the model and was editing the thumbnail I forgot to do the eyes. This is what I mean earlier when I said the model is big with lots of details. I kept forgetting to paint. But not to worry, he is painted and done. I'm happy with how this model came out. It was really fun and challenging to paint. I wanted to try some things with this model. Some things worked, some things did not. But that's also why I enjoy painting, trying to experiment to get better and trying new things. Some of these things I have done with older models, but I've gotten out of practice with them and wanted to try and implement them again. I'm hoping that in future models I remember to use them or try new things as well. So I want to say thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Let me know what old world models you are painting or currently working on, or other projects like miniature painting, building as well. So again, until the next one, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.